Hi guys, I'm gonna try the live once again. I've got hold of a Wi-Fi this time. Hopefully the connection will be stable enough. This is the Sony Xperia XZ1. It has just been launched in India. It costs 44,990. So pretty competent pricing for a flagship device. It runs on the Snapdragon 835 chipset. You get a 2700 battery, 2700 milliamp hour battery inside. There's a 19 megapixel camera right here on the back. It's got a 5.2 inch 1080p HDR display. And that's about all the bells and whistles you get with a Sony phone. So the 19 megapixel camera this time comes with some added gimmicks. So one of them is you go into this mode, you get a predictive capture feature. Yes, Akash, it runs on Android Oreo, so it is literally the first smartphone in India and globally to have Oreo out of the box. It runs on Android Oreo, like I said. So you get this predictive capture feature. So what predictive capture does is, if you're shooting a person's photo, the predictive capture mode will basically try and take multiple photos, and it'll try to predict when the person is smiling and which is the best photo, and let you choose that photo. So it takes about 4 photos after you're done. It also gives you a smart predictive autofocus mode. So what that does is, if there's moving subjects, I can simply take a burst shot like I just did, and it gives you these multiple photos, and then it tells you to choose from those photos whichever is the best shot. And you can also take all of these burst shots and convert them into a video. No, Akash, it's got a single camera only. It's a 19 megapixel single camera. You can see the NFC logo. So for those of you asking, it does support NFC support. It does support NFC, and yes, it is the first Android Oreo powered device in India. I'm just going to show you guys that. Let me go into settings, and there you go, Android 8.0.0. So again, first phone to launch with Android Oreo. Okay, apart from that, Sony is really touting one feature on this phone, which is the 3D creator. So what this does is, it lets you create a scan of people's faces. Sony says that since 3D printers are available, but they must be expensive, but Sony says that there are no devices that sort of scan very easily. So this becomes like a device that you can carry around in your pocket and use. So good question, Akash. It actually does not have any depth sensor or additional sensors. It just uses its rear camera and some software to create the 3D photos. So this is what happens often. So in my first few scans, you have to get used to this. I ended up creating the wrong kind of scan, and then in the second or third try, I was a little better when I understood how to do it, but it does take some getting used to. It's not exactly the seamless solution. Also, one thing I realized is that if you try to create a scan in a little low light, not very low light, a little low light, it comes out blurry often, and that could be a problem for some. But yeah, in Varun, it runs on the Snapdragon 835 chipset. It's got 4GB of RAM. It also has 64GB storage inside. And one thing Sony changed this time is that the metal feels much more solid than it was last time. So you get that loop design, as Sony calls it, in the sense that you get these curved sides on this phone, and it's a very premium and light, premium, sleek design that way. It's not really a bezel-less form factor or anything like that, but it's a sleek design for sure. Varun, like I said, this phone costs 44,990. It will be available in India in stores from today onwards. One thing I've noticed is that it's sort of fingerprint intensive on the back. Even though this is a matte-ish finish on the metal, it is a little fingerprint intensive. Not very, but a little for sure. Yes, it does support 4K videos, Mr. Ponting. Okay. So that's pretty much everything Sony has to say about the Xperia XZ1. It has been launched in India now. It is available in India now, so you guys can buy it if you wish to. Apart from that, so what do I say? On first impressions, like I said, it runs on Snapdragon 835. So things are pretty smooth and fast here. There's not much to question about that. Of course, that is the first impressions. We'll have to test this more. Some of the telltale lags of Android are still there. But I think Sony has improved the camera speed also this time, so it focuses faster, and this is still a problem. It sort of takes a moment too long, in my opinion, to process photos, and that may not be a very good thing to do. No, it's not the only HDR supported display, but it does support HDR. Yes, the Xperia XZ Premium also does support HDR, Mr. Ponting. क्या प्राइस है? कोई प्राइस नहीं है भाई. Yes, Akash, it does have a metallic body and a pretty seamless metallic body. At that, Sony calls this the loop design. So the concept here is that the metal essentially curves around the edges, and it's like one piece of aluminium. So the bottom is also slightly curved this time, the bottom and back, very slightly. You will only see it once you have it in your hand, and that sort of makes it a newer design, although the phone is pretty much the same as it was. No, Varun, it's got a 1080p HDR display. And overall, I do like the Xperia XZ1 in terms of form factor. If you really need to use it with your with one hand, it can be used, but yeah, it's not perfectly suited to single-handed usage either. It feels pretty fast, although I'm not very convinced with Sony's 3D creator feature. It seems more like a gimmick. It seems more like something you would do for fun and get over it. You wouldn't really want to use this as a very intensive or primary feature or something. It's not something that professionals will be very happy about. Yes, it does record 4K video. Let me just show you guys that. Okay, let me go to settings. Let's see. Oh, I'm on camera settings right now. I have to go to video mode. So I go to video mode, I go to this, I go to video resolution, and I go to 4K. There you go. Okay, of course device temperature rises when you shoot 4K video, and there you go, it's shooting 4K video now. So it does shoot 4K video, by the way. And of course with the Snapdragon 835 you expect 4K video. There should be no reason why it won't shoot 4K video. Again, video processing also does take some time, which is probably fine. Video processing can take time. There you go, the video is playing on this now. Of course, 4K, you will need a 4K supported display to see the video. So while the Sony Xperia XZ1 can shoot 4K video, it can't really show you 4K video. It can show you HDR video. Varun, I took a few photos and stabilization seems okay, although it's not, absolutely top notch. I just reviewed the Note 8. I didn't think the stabilization was as good as on the Note 8 or the Google Pixel for that matter. So there is some work to be done there. I don't have very big moving subjects here, so I can't really figure out, rather I am not in a moving vehicle here, so I can't perfectly figure out how good this is, but it seems like some work needs to be done. Tushar, it does not have OIS. Roshan, it has the Snapdragon 835 chipset from Qualcomm, so top end chipset. Of course, there's no question about the power or how powerful it is. Like I told you guys, if you see very closely, there are a few blemishes on the back already, and I've used this device for about 10-15 minutes. It's been in my hand. So some may not like this, but then most of you probably put covers on your phones anyway, so you wouldn't mind. Overall, I do think this is a nice design, if not a very modern design. Ricky Ponting, there is no Xperia XZ1 Premium at the moment, and I think 44,000 is a competitive price as far as specs are concerned. Of course, you can get better devices at that range as well. I'm not saying this is the best device there at all. For 44K, okay, if you say so, Varun. It's got a 13 megapixel front camera, by the way, so that's for the selfie enthusiasts out there. And like I said, HDR supported display. That's something actually I personally find very interesting, because with HDR coming to smartphones, it becomes simpler to view things like Netflix in HDR and all. Of course, we need the internet connectivity for that, but India is slowly getting there. So I do like the fact that smartphones can today support HDR. And the Xperia XZ1 is one of the few phones that can do that. Of course, the others being the Galaxy Note 8, Sony's own Xperia XZ Premium, and the LG V30 and the LG G6. So that is there. By the way, you also get this dedicated shutter button on the side, so you guys can go to the camera. You can simply take the camera and you can press the shutter button to take a photo. And unlike many other phones, Sony's shutter button actually seems very seamless. It is quite fast. It was on video mode at the moment, so I'm gonna change it to the auto, which Sony calls superior auto, and I can simply go here and I can take a photo with this. So it is quite fast. I am not sure what you mean, Varun. Yeah, on first impressions, the Xperia XZ1 is a very nice and premium device, to be honest. I like how it feels in my hand, I like how premium it feels. What I don't like is that it's lacking some of the modern features today, and compared to devices like the Note or the Galaxy S8 and all, it may not be the out and out performer we expect from a flagship. What I will say again is that the 3D capture feature is sort of gimmicky, and I'm not very fond of that. And also, if I place this next to a Galaxy S8, you guys will see that so you can see a stark difference between Samsung and Sony's phones, just purely in terms of design. Samsung phone feels more modern with the whole bezel-less presence, the curves and all that, and I think Sony ought to adopt that eventually. But still, on first impressions, it's not a bad device at all. It's a nice device, it's a top-end device, but we'll have to test it out a little more to figure out how well Sony has done and whether it stacks up to its competitors or not. That's been the first impressions of the Xperia XZ1. You guys can ask me more questions. You can leave your questions here. We will get back to you. You can write to us on editor@digit.in. You can write to us on Twitter, Instagram. There are many ways to reach us. Please do reach us. Ask us your questions. We will try and answer them all.